folks, Adam here, Sandamtod, back again. Gonna do this response, not response, well, yeah, response or community question, sorry. interGHOSTHOUSE posted a video and he posted it as a response to Lawn Boy Post 1975, who had reposted as a response to Shock 16. So it's basically just a response to a response to a response to a response. So that's where we're at. But the question is valid. The question is, first game you bought yourself for every console you own. I know some people may not remember, and you think based on the quantity of games that I have, that I may not remember, but actually I do remember most everything that I bought in the generation it was in. Some systems I only bought one per generation, so if I had a PS1, I probably didn't have a Saturn or a Nintendo 64. So, and then when I bought those later in life, I bought used ones with multiple games, a lot, or I ordered a I know my Master System came with a few games when I ordered it off the internet, so, it's just one of those things where I didn't just get the first game because I got 3 or 4 at once, so I'm not going to do those. But anyway, I divided this up the best I could. My parents, my dad and my mom, I think my dad didn't buy them for me because my mom didn't really care to. So video games weren't taboo. They were allowed, but it was a luxury that I had to pay for myself. So, be it summer jobs, be it mowing lawns, be it collecting cans, be it whatever I did to make money, cooking for my grandma for a couple of years, things like that, was how I was able to buy video games. And so, of course, naturally, the first thing that I had was a Atari 2600, because I think I had the slim one, the junior, I don't know what it's called exactly, but the little slim one that came in the maroon box. And that was the first thing I bought, and I think it was like $50 or something. And this was already when the Nintendo was out, but I couldn't afford a Nintendo. That was like double the price, and it was just, I just wanted some kind of video game, so I bought an Atari 2600. And I remember I bought a game, and my stepdad bought a game, and he bought Real Sports Football, which I do have a copy of that as well to this day. It's not my original. All my original stuff I sold in a garage sale. So this isn't an original cart, but this is the game that I bought for the 2600 when I first bought it, and it's called Solaris. And it's an outer space game. A lot of the first-person perspective kind of shooting at stuff, and then it goes to like a grid map, and you move to the next bad guy and click on that. And then there's like certain things that are like refueling stations or planets, good guys, and you have to replenish your ship. So you have to land, and you kind of pick guys up defender style, and then when you dock, you get extra points and stuff. I played a lot of this game. It's one of those games that I was like, I don't know if there's an ending to it, but it made me want to have some kind of password or save, because it seemed like you had to play it forever to clear a couple boards, and then it was like, you were done. So anyway, as time moved on, I did end up getting a NES, a Nintendo. I was going to buy a Sega Master System, but my stepfather kind of talked me into getting the Nintendo because all my other friends had Nintendo and we could trade games and stuff. But I really dug the Sega Master System stuff. So, I don't know. I went Nintendo, though, because everybody else did. So that was just the way it was. So, and like I said, I don't know what the first Sega Master System game, because I think I got like 3 or 4 with it. I bought the console. You get Mario and Duck Hunt. That doesn't count. The game that I wanted and I was going to buy was pro wrestling, the black box, regular old pro wrestling. Well, the Nintendo had been out a while, so that game wasn't really like on the shelves anymore. And I think the video store was selling games, that they had used in those plastic snapshot case things for like $10 a piece or $15 a piece. And I think they had it up there, and I went to go get it, and it was sold, and I was so disappointed. But my stepdad kind of was like, well, it's not such a bad thing, if you mow the lawn, I'll give you $15 and we can go get, something else. So, I did earn the money. I mowed the lawn and he gave me the money, but we went up to Walmart, I remember, and they used to have all the Nintendo games hanging on the hang tabs behind the counter. And I remember looking at them all, and he kind of talked me into getting this, but it was because we wanted a two-player at the same time in pro wrestling or baseball, but I didn't want baseball game. So we ended up getting this. We ended up getting Double Dribble. This is the original box, and the original instructions are in the box, but this is not the original cartridge. The original cartridge I actually traded when I was in high school to a kid for Blaster Master, a permanent trade, because I knew my cousin had a copy of Double Dribble that he said I could have all his Nintendo stuff the next time it came out. And so I was like, well, I'll just get that from him, and I'll basically get a free Blaster Master. So it's actually my cousin's Double Dribble, but this was the first game that I bought for the NES. My battery's going to die. I'm going to switch it, and then we'll get started again. So hold on. Hey, folks, back for part 2. It was nice enough to pause the movie for those of you who were watching the movie instead of me. But the next system step up, after that initial buy when I was in high school, that carried me through till I was like 18 or 19. Now, the Genesis had been out for I think 2 years maybe by the time I got around to being able to get out. I had my own job where I was pretty much working full time, and I was trying to go to school, and but I didn't have a real. I had a lot of extra cash, let's say, so I bought 2 systems this generation. I bought the Super Nintendo and the Genesis, but I bought the Genesis first. And I do remember what game I bought first with it, and I was a real big fan of the comics, and everything was kind of blowing up with them right at that time, but it was the X-Men. This game I bought because it was 2-player co-op, and also you can play it single player and stuff. Shortly thereafter, I picked up, I'm kind of fuzzy on the order, but I know they're second and third. I picked up Street Fighter II Championship Edition and Mortal Kombat. Those were my second and third pickups for the Genesis, but the X-Men was the first pickup for it. So the next system was the Super Nintendo. And the Super Nintendo, I've said it many times, I bought the console for this game. It was the first game I bought, although Link to the Past came with it. And I was glad it did, because I really like Link to the Past, but it wasn't a buy. This was my buy. You know what it is. It's Super Metroid. It's still one of the most awesome side-scrollers ever made. If you have never played this, I don't know why you haven't. If you're a side-scroller fan. But Super Metroid. The third game I bought, or second, I guess, because third, I'm counting the one that came in the system, would have been Final Fantasy 3 or 6. You know how they renumbered them here. So, we're down 4 systems. Yay! I've got 4 more in the stack, and then 2 kind of superfluous ones to the side, because I didn't own those systems when they came out. They were actually systems that have been gifted to me, and I will pay homage to those guys when we get there. The next system I did buy was the Sega CD. It was the step up to the CD generation, you know, and this was one of the premier games they really pushed at the time I was getting ready to buy mine. And Mitch Waspray, it's one of his faves. It's one of my favorites. You've all heard it. You all love it. Or not. Dragon's Lair. Dragon's Lair on the Sega CD. Complete with a foam thing. Protective foam. This is my original copy. It is my original copy. The Metroid was my original copy, and the X-Men was also my original copy. Everything about them was complete. I didn't show the inside of the Metroid. Why not? We'll go back and show it. Hell, it's my video. There it is. It's got the protective little Beely Bob on it. I have those on pretty much every Super Nintendo game I own. I was lucky enough to kind of find them here and there. And here's the instruction book. A little worn, but not real bad. No pages really got folded, but they got a little rumpled. Next generation was the PlayStation generation. PlayStation 1 was what I bought. I did not own a Saturn. I did not own a Nintendo 64. And I still don't really care for the 64. And the Saturn, we'll go ahead and cut to that, was gifted to me by Ryan right now. Thanks, brother. I still have it, and I still play it every now and again. It's hard to keep so many damn systems hooked up at the same time. But I actually bought this game before I had the system. I had this game, and it was because it was cheap and it was at the thrift store. And I was just waiting to get a Saturn someday. Kind of like my Jaguar. All I have is a copy of Doom that's complete that I bought for the Jaguar, and I doubt I'll ever own one of those. So I'm stalling. Hey, Virtua Fighter 2 was the Sega Saturn game, the first one I bought. It's complete without protective foam, but I think it was like a couple bucks. It wasn't very much. So this one, I actually didn't own this system in the generation it came out, but, you know, we'll go ahead and show it. We'll go ahead and show this one too, because I think this system was out kind of parallel with the Genesis and the Super Nintendo, and that's the TurboGrafx. Super NES man sent me a TurboGrafx in the box a long time ago, and I got so pissed because the post office lost. Gave it out to the wrong person. Luckily, that person brought it to my house, which was awesome. But he brought sent me the TurboGrafx, and he sent me Blazing Lasers with it. I only have bought one game for it, and that's because there's very few. I haven't ordered any off the internet, and this one happened to be reasonable, and it was at vintage stock, and it's a game that pretty much everybody had, or it might even came with the system, and that's Keith Courage in Alpha Zone. It is complete, except the little, like, arm or whatever that holds this in here is missing or whatever, but you know, that was for that. So thank you, Super NES man. I still have the TurboGrafx. It's right over here in this stack of goodies. The box is. Where were we? PlayStation 1 was the system I owned in that generation. And the first game I bought was the first one I ever saw, other than a racing game, and it's a game that everybody knows, and that is Resident Evil 1. This isn't my original copy, although I did have a long box version. When I got the director's cut, because it had the original version and the director's cut version, which is basically just a cock tease rework kind of game where they just move stuff around and try to make it seem like it was a new game, but it wasn't. But I gave my long box copy to my uncle, basically, but my cousin and my uncle. And I asked him what he ever did with that, and he said he thought it was in the storeroom. And I said, well, if you ever run across it, I'd like it back, you know. And he's like, no problem, but it's never come about. So I think it's long lost. But I ordered a new one, so a new old one. So that's my long box copy. It's actually in really good shape, and the teeth aren't messed up on the little thing that snaps the disc in. This could use a little bit of glue, maybe, right under there, but Other than that, it's pretty good. Just some shelfware. Next generation, I own the PS2. The PS2, I guess it would be the Dreamcast and the GameCube and the Xbox. Now, the GameCube, the Xbox, and the Dreamcast, I bought all of those in, like, when I bought them, I bought, like, a bunch of games at the same time, so I didn't just buy one. So this is basically a video about, your first experience, So we're going with that. So I'm not going to do those consoles. And I don't have a Jaguar. And the 3DO, I also bought a bunch of games at the same time. I think 5 of them came in the box, and then I bought like 3 or 4 other ones, and a couple of them the guy gave to me at vintage stock. So I'm not doing those. So we've got 2 games left. I don't know why I'm dragging this out. The PS2, I picked it up, and it was for a similar game. It was for the same series, actually, that I just showed for the PS1. I picked it up for Code Veronica, which was on the Dreamcast, I know, but I didn't own a Dreamcast, so I picked it up for the PS2. This was the first game. I cannot remember what I bought after this, but I do know this was the first game. I think it might have been Devil May Cry. Might have been my next purchase after this, the first one. So, now he stopped at that level. He didn't go this gen. I'm going to show my this gen because I only have one system. I don't have a Wii. I don't have any handhelds. I'm not doing handhelds. I don't have a PS3. I want one, but it's not a necessity. I have my 360. I don't even put that much mileage on it. But when I bought it, at the time, this game was just come out. interGHOST will probably get a kick out of this, but it's the game I bought when I bought my 360. It was the first game I bought, and that is the Ghostbusters. So Ghostbusters, I still haven't beat this, but it was the game I bought when I bought the 360. Now, I don't know if you're supposed to stop at this gen and not do it. He did, but I'm pushing the envelope. So this was just a response. I'll probably respond to him, and he'll post my video. And then if you all want to do videos, you can either post them to him, interGHOSTHOUSE, or you can post them to me. That's all good. Or you can leave comments. I love comments too. I love answering comments back. So if you don't want to take the time to make a video, but you want to let me know what you had, so we can have a conversation about it, that's all good. So anyway, that was a cool question. I dug it. That was my response. I don't know how long it was, but that's all I'm doing. So I'm going to get out of here. That was it. It's kind of a weird kind of collection of stuff, really, if you think about it. But and all those systems, I've never had a console. I had those 2 gifted to me from those nice YouTubers, and my cousin's given me some random consoles here and there that may or may not have worked, but I've never been bought a system, especially not one new in the gen. It was I've always bought my own system, so it's just one of those things. I never got one of them Christmases where you got the console. It just never happened. Now, I did get some games. I did get some games for Christmas, but that was from my dad's parents, grandparents, and that was pretty much, you pretty much get one, is what it was. And we didn't get games for birthdays or anything. So I pretty much financed my own collection, or begged, borrowed, and stealed, and traded, and worked. I remember I gave a kid $10 for Metroid, and I'm not even sure it was his Metroid game to be selling me. But hey, it ended up in my collection. So it's just the way it went. So anyway, I'm out of here. I'm dragging it out. Maybe so you could watch the end of the movie. I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to get out of here. See you next video. Bye.